If you're that team right now, what do you think is the message, or what do you think is the mindset? Because like Shefty said, they've pulled every lever. They've tried. They've pulled every single lever, and it's just not working. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other levers they could have pulled over the last, 25, 30 years. Sure. They could have them in a different situation. But what do you think the message is from Ulbrich to that team?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it starts at the top. And so, as you said, Woody started pulling the levers, got rid of, fired Salah, which, I mean, I don't understand that. I thought that he's done a great job there with the defense and made the defensive coordinator the head coach. So I'm not really sure what that did. Changed some play calling, brought in Devontae, got Reddick back. I don't know. It seems like a lot of moves here by Woody that I'm not sure. I don't really understand how they add up. But I'd say it's more a question for him to answer than me. I think from the outside, it's maybe hard to understand why they would do some of the things they did. So I think you have to ask the guy who did them.
It was an important second half for us. There's not always any crazy magic words at halftime, but the most important thing is the belief. Do you actually believe that you can turn things around at halftime? And Morgan Moses, who's been a great leader for us, just not only like an absolute warrior, what he's played with, his knee this season, but he's like one of those real dudes that you have in the locker room that you can always count on, like say the right thing at the right time and not overdo it, kind of impeccable timing, but also like just the right words from a real dude, not like a dude who sometimes is, the rah-rah guy when it's, a primetime game, or sometimes, overspeaks. We all know teammates like that we've had in the past. Morgan's a real dude, and he just said some stuff. But from the start, I would say when you juxtapose that from when we were ahead against Pittsburgh. We were ahead at halftime against Pittsburgh, and the locker room was not a lot of belief for whatever reason.
What do you mean, quiet? Like, what do you mean? How can you tell?
It's just kind of like when everybody's in their own groups and there's nobody kind of talking to each other. So receivers are over there, lines over there, quarterbacks over there, running backs over there. And so we kind of made a point to say, hey, let's never do that again. And so we basically were sitting in a tight circle, and there was some guys standing around. We were just talking through. I was talking through the line about, hey, what runs you like? I was talking receivers about run solution, about certain coverages that we saw. Talked to the line about, and the tight ends about some protection adjustments if we get a certain type of front and pressure again. And everybody's kind of communicating, and then Todd brought it up and said some things, and then Morgan kind of finished the whole thing off and had a good message, and we just went out and executed and scored, really on we only had 3 drives, I feel like. I mean, not counting the kneel down, we had 3 drives, we scored 3 times.
What it do, YouTube? It's Coffee. Back talking some NFL there, man, and you see them 2 clips in regards to the dumpster fire that is known as the New York Jets. And it's been so crazy, all these headlines that the Jets have been getting, man. I swear I'd never seen a team below 500 having the season that they're having, getting this kind of coverage ever in my life, man, But with this crazy upset win last night and this amazing all-time highlight reel material catch by Garrett Wilson that you see everyone's putting side by side with the catch by OBJ, it's like all of a sudden did the narrative shift, did the momentum shift? Are things looking different? Is the Jets franchise saved? Can they make a run at this thing? I still personally say no. I've been saying the Jets just ain't a good team, and that's just is what it is. I was saying that back after we beat them, right after they made the move of firing Salah and all that, and it was a close game. And I keep telling everyone, man, that's nothing new. Divisional games are like that very often. How many times, I always point out to my fellow Bills Mafia, did the Bills during the playoff drought almost beat the Patriots, but we didn't? You know what I mean? That's just, divisional games are like that. The better team just holds on stronger and comes through in the clutch. Not all the wins are pretty, but they're wins nonetheless. But it's so wild now. It's like there's just all these new combos. If, like I said, they're already getting this coverage, they suck. Then they pull out this big upset, especially, isn't that so crazy to have 2 plays make like the all-time highlight reel on opposite sides of the spectrum in the same game? You got, what's his name, Corley dropping the ball on the one, like Deshaun Jackson in his rookie year for the Jets. looking like a goofy, something that should be a touchdown ends up being a turnover and a touchback. And then they switch it up and hit the other end of the spectrum with this amazing, like I said, just all-time highlight reel catch by Wilson, getting that shin down or knee is like the variation of the rule, like that equals 2 feet. I don't know. It was wild, man. It was something crazy to watch, and I couldn't believe that they pulled it off. And Houston's a good squad. They beat my Bills, man. Stephon Diggs got his get back, but you hear Belichick talking about Woody. He doesn't really understand the firing of Salah. It's so funny hearing Belichick, man, right? Like, we used to hear him back in the day doing those, we're on to whoever the next team was, those press conferences that just like Lynch, I'm here so I won't get fined. You know what I mean? Like, on the same type time, hearing him be a broadcaster and like, yeah, I thought that was in the most generic way, Bill Belichick way of saying it as possible. Bad moves to fire Salah, but hey, that's up to Woody, and it's like, Jets fan, shout out Chaos the other day, she was just saying Woody needs to sell the team, what's gonna happen. But I don't know, it feels like all of a sudden there's this like newfound faith in the Jets pulling off this huge upset. Because aside from the big upset, in the other clip you hear Aaron Rodgers talking about players coming together. He was like, was it the Bills game or the game against the Steelers where we were up, but just no one really believed, and then he talks about like leadership within the locker room, players speaking up, kind of rallying up morale and bringing guys together and everything like that. And that's a real thing, man. More like morale and chemistry between the team and, dudes that can unite everyone against divide the locker room is a big deal. And I don't know, that's kind of the question here, man. With all that being said, you see, like, there's a new spark of hope struck in within the Jets squad and fan base. So tap in, comment, let me know your thoughts about the Jets and if you think they can turn it around and run this stretch and get to 500 and be a 6-16 leading into the last leg of the playoffs and compete for a wild card spot, right? Because let's keep it real, man. Ain't no one getting this AFC East crown except for my Bills. They're going to have to find another way in, and that's going to be via the wild card. And then speaking of my Bills, man, just something to go over real quick. It looks like word is Terrell Bernard, who is just a playmaker, a guy you need out on the field on defense, should be good to go in this game, another divisional matchup against the Dolphins, which is good to know, man. I hope we get Milano back this year. That's been the story with these Bills teams these years in which the Super Bowl window has been open, man. We get bit by the injury bug so bad, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But hopefully Bernard's ready to go. I got worried, man. We seen him go down with 2 times in that one game. I don't know if one was like a possible concussion and they said he's good to go, get back out there. Then his foot or leg got stepped on. Like, we need Bernard, man. And it looks like he's going to be okay. Also, Amari Cooper and Samuel are questionable. So we'll have to see how that goes. If these guys are out there or not, being down 2 receivers, which I would say, I don't know if we could call them both key receivers. Cooper is, even though he's just got with the team and his numbers have been all right. His first reception with the Bills was a touchdown, but you need him out there because he draws so much attention to him personally to create mismatches. Samuel is a guy that I was really pumped about the Bills getting, who has great playmaking ability. He just never had a solid QB throwing him the ball. But I don't know. I feel like we'll see some production from him at some point this year, but that's what we're talking about with the Bills versus the Dolphins. And then leading into this last little topic here, man, Tyreek Hill, is he on the way? Is the cheetah on his way running up out of Miami? Trade deadline's just around the corner. Comment to your guys' thoughts with the trade deadline on the horizon. Is there anyone else throughout the league that you could see getting dealt? A lot of people are saying Justin Fields. I don't know, Hill, you see these comments, man, on Twitter. Like, he responded to someone Think about that. He took the time to be talking about he'll take his pro-am team over anything. And it's been wild, man. The police harassed him to start out the season. It's been all bad. Dolphins fans were all turned up last year. They were doing all that ish, putting up all them numbers. And I kept telling everyone, man, the Bills will get our get back. We'll win the division. And we did. And then they went out and got eliminated ASAP in the playoffs. And then this year, right away when the season kicks off, he's getting harassed by the police in a flucked up way. And I feel from that. That was some foul, old bull-ish. But he's on here telling fans, like, yeah, now I'm a blocker. So even though last year things didn't work out the way Hill or Dolphins fan base or the team would have wanted, he was putting up numbers still. Now he's saying, hey, I've been relegated to a pass blocker, basically. I'm a blocker. I don't know. That's not a good sign. And Hill's the kind of guy that I think will really be, if he wants up out of there, pressing the issue, which won't be good if you have a star player pressing the issue like, yo, trade me, get me up out of here, this, that, and the third. That you talk about creating division or just bad momentum within a team, like we're saying, pointing out earlier where Rodgers and the Jets are saying, like, we found this newfound hope. This is the opposite of that, you know what I mean? And maybe they'll deal him. I don't know. Comment. Do you guys think Hill will continue to be a Dolphin? Will he get dealt before the trade deadline? Or, maybe they'll wait for the offseason for something to happen. But there you have it, man. Bernard, will he be back for the Bills? Newfound hope within the Jets organization, even though right now y'all hear me saying it, man. I think it's false hope. They suck. Big play, highlight reel material plays and all that, and a big upset, but Jets ain't doing ish. And Tyreek Hill wanting out of the Dolphins. Seemingly, that's what it's looking like. Hit the comments. Let me know your thoughts. It's Coffee, and I'm gone.